Hi everyone, welcome to our video about protection. Joining me today is Bill Stark. He's a Magic Pro Tour journalist and a game developer for Wizards of the Coast. Bill, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Sam.
So we're talking about protection, and protection is what's known as an evergreen keyword, which means it shows up in every set, like flying and first strike do. However, even though it's a complex ability, it usually doesn't have reminder text to explain what it does.
That's right, Sam. It only has reminder text on core set cards like the ones from Magic 2011. Let's take a look at one of those.
This is the M11 card Black Knight. It has protection from white. The protection ability always says what it grants protection from. This is usually a color, such as protection from white, but it can be just about any characteristic.
True. There are cards that have protection from artifacts, protection from goblins, protection from instants, protection from converted mana cost 3 or greater, and even protection from everything.
And there are plenty more. Protection works the same way in each case, so we'll just stick with protection from white in this video.
A common misconception is that protection from white makes a creature completely immune to anything and everything white.
But that's not exactly how it works, right?
Despite its name, protection isn't a blanket ability that covers all cases. Rather, it's a compilation of 4 different abilities, and we'll go over them one by one. The first thing protection from white means is that all damage that would be dealt to Black Knight from a white source is prevented. So in this situation, we'll see how Black Knight's protection prevents damage from white sources in a variety of ways. Sam, why don't you go ahead and attack?
You got it. I'll attack with my Siege Mastodon, my Silvercoat Lion, and the Stormfront Pegasus.
Cool. I'll block Siege Mastodon with Black Knight, I'll block Silvercoat Lion with Warpath Ghoul, and I'll block your Stormfront Pegasus with Kellanor Bat.
Aha! Now I'll activate Brigid, Hero of Kinsbale's ability. It deals 2 damage to each blocking creature you control.
Well, it'll deal 2 damage to the Ghoul and the Bat, which destroys them, but all the damage Brigid would do to Black Knight is prevented.
Ah, protection from white.
Exactly. Black Knight is still blocking Siege Mastodon. In combat, the Knight deals 2 damage to the Mastodon, which isn't enough to destroy it.
But the Mastodon deals 3 damage back to the Knight, which is enough to kill it, right?
Except that the Mastodon is white. All the damage it would deal to Black Knight is prevented thanks to the protection ability. Black Knight can block white attacking creatures all day long. The second thing protection from white does is that white auras and white equipment can't be attached to Black Knight by any means. Let me show you a few examples. Let's start with equipment. Here's Behemoth Sledge, a white and green equipment. Now, there aren't many colored equipment out there, but it just wouldn't be a complete lesson on protection without them. I'll cast Magnetic Theft, a red instant that says attach target equipment to target creature. I'll target the Behemoth Sledge and the Black Knight.
Now, that's a legal play because the Magnetic Theft is red, right?
Very good. We'll talk more about targeting in just a minute or two. It is a legal play, but remember that the Knight can't have a white equipment attached to it, so when the Magnetic Theft resolves, it won't attach the Behemoth Sledge to the Knight.
Okay, so it was a legal play, but a bad one.
Yeah, it was, Sam. I'll just pay 3 and attach the Behemoth Sledge to my Silvercoat Lion.
So what about auras? I know that I can't cast a white aura spell targeting the Black Knight.
Sam, don't jump ahead. The targeting part is coming.
Okay, but this pacifism in my hand isn't helping me at all against the Black Knight. What if an aura enters the battlefield another way? Will that help?
No, it won't. In fact, I'll activate the ability of Nomad Mythmaker. It lets me return an aura card from my graveyard to the battlefield attached to one of my creatures. I'll target the Holy Strength in my graveyard.
But since the Holy Strength is white, it can't be attached to the Black Knight, right?
Very good. Instead, I'll attach it to my Silvercoat Lion, which now has a white equipment and a white aura attached to it.
So what would happen if your Silvercoat Lion gained protection from white right now?
To demonstrate, I'll cast Brave the Elements, giving white creatures I control protection from a color of my choice until end of turn. Although not the best play on my part, I'll choose white just to show you what happens.
I appreciate it.
Now that my Silvercoat Lion has protection from white, a few things happen. It can't be enchanted by white auras, so the Holy Strength immediately goes to my graveyard.
Okay, that makes sense, but what about the white equipment?
The Behemoth Sledge can't be equipped to the Silvercoat Lion, so it falls off, but remains on the battlefield unattached.
So we've seen that protection prevents damage and stops auras and equipment. What else does it do?
I'm glad you asked. Let's move on to the third aspect of protection. As we saw earlier, Black Knight can block white creatures all day long, but white creatures can't block it.
Why do I get the feeling you're going to attack me soon with that Black Knight and Silvercoat Lion?
Sam, I will attack you with Black Knight and Silvercoat Lion. Since the only creature you have is white, Black Knight gets through unblocked.
True, but I can still block the lion with my Mastodon. Hey, what would happen if your lion gained protection from white right now? Oh, wait, yeah, never.
Sam, you know that every time you ask that I'm going to cast Brave the Elements, right?
Yeah, well, I walked right into that one.
Indeed. My Silvercoat Lion gains protection from white for the rest of the turn. However, it's already been blocked by a white creature. Once a block has been declared, the lion remains blocked. On the plus side, protection from white means that all the damage that Mastodon would deal to the lion is prevented.
Well, that's 3 aspects of protection. What about the last one?
Come on, Sam, you already know this one.
Black Knight can't be targeted by white spells, and it can't be targeted by abilities from white sources.
Correct, but do you know how to identify if something targets it?
Yeah. But you're from R&D. I think you should go ahead and say it.
Sure, Sam, it's easy. You look for the word target in the text of the card. For example, you can't cast Path to Exile targeting Black Knight. You can't target Black Knight with Blinding Mage's ability. You can't target Black Knight with Oblivion Ring's ability. And you can't cast Angelic Blessing targeting Black Knight either. Some keyword abilities target a creature, but since they're only keywords, don't have the word target printed on the card. The main keywords that do this are enchant and equip, and we covered those already.
Okay, so a creature with protection from white can't be targeted by anything white. But what if it gains protection after being targeted?
Good question. Let's check it out.
Okay, so I know that I can't cast Path to Exile targeting the Black Knight, so I'll cast it targeting the Silvercoat Lion instead. But I'm guessing you have a response.
Of course. I'll cast Brave the Elements, and I'll choose white. When Path to Exile tries to resolve, it sees that the Silvercoat Lion is now an illegal target because it has protection from white. Path to Exile is countered for having no legal targets, so it goes to the graveyard without any effect. My lion isn't exiled, and I won't get to search for basic land. This aspect of protection is very similar to the keyword ability Shroud, which you can learn about in the Shroud video.
So Bill, we've seen what protection does, but at the top of the video you said that it's not a blanket ability. So what doesn't protection do?
Well, we've seen that protection is effective against damage, enchantments and equipment, blocking, and targeting, so anything that doesn't do any of those will still work.
Well, like what kind of things?
Let's check out some examples. Glorious Anthem is a white enchantment that gives each creature I control +1/+1. It doesn't damage, enchant, equip, block, or target anything, so protection ignores it entirely. Even though it's a white enchantment, my Black Knight gets +1/+1 from its effect.
Okay, so suppose I cast Day of Judgment. It's a white sorcery that destroys all creatures. Would that include the Black Knight?
Yes, for the same reasons. Day of Judgment doesn't damage, enchant, equip, block, or target Black Knight. It's a global effect that the protection ability can't quite protect against. Black Knight is destroyed. One last thing, protection abilities only work on the battlefield.
So if I have a creature with protection from blue in my hand and I cast it as a spell,
I can target it and counter it with a blue spell like Cancel.
and if I have a creature with protection from black in my graveyard,
you can target it and resurrect it with a black spell like Rise from the Grave.
Okay, so let's recap.
Sure. A creature with protection can't be damaged, enchanted, equipped, blocked, or targeted by anything that has the characteristic it's protected against. A handy way to remember this is with the mnemonic DET. D for damages, E for enchanted and equipped, B for blocked, and T for targeted.
Wait, what does debt have to do with protection?
Nothing, that's just what it spells.
Okay then. Well, anyway, Bill, thanks a lot for showing us the ins and outs of protection.
No problem. It's certainly not the easiest ability in the world, but it does a lot of powerful things, and in the right circumstances, it can win games outright.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.